Hey guys, it's Jenny Silver with a California EDD unemployment update. I am going to be going through some of the major questions and concerns that you guys have been voicing over the last week, so please check the timestamp menu for the information on your specific topic down below. First, many of you are still having extreme difficulty contacting EDD customer service and need help getting through the California EDD phone line. For those of you who cannot reach the EDD, I recommend that you contact your assembly member. The assembly members are still acting as a liaison between EDD claimants and the EDD itself. So reaching out to them will help them to get in contact with EDD on your behalf. I'm going to leave the link on how to locate your assembly member in the video description. Next, if you must call the EDD directly, unfortunately, they have changed their phone lines within the last month or so. So the 134 trick, which I have shown on my channel previously, unfortunately no longer works. The only trick to get through to the EDD directly at this time is by using a paid third-party service called Claimer. I've done several videos on Claimer, and you can watch me test it out and talk with the CEO on Zoom. And if you use my link down below, it will save you $5 on their service. Now, once again, I would recommend starting with contacting your assembly member because that is the free method. But for those of you that want to get through to EDD directly, using the link down below will save you $5 on that first callback from Claimer, and it will allow Claimer to redial the EDD on your behalf and then forward the successful call back to your phone when it's ready. Claimer does include up to 10 free callbacks should your call with the EDD be dropped or disconnected. Next, many of you have been asked for PUA work history documentation in order to verify your employment, self-employment, or plans for employment prior to the pandemic. Now, I have a video that walks you through each exact scenario and what type of documentation you should send over based on your type of claim and type of work history or plans for work. I'm going to link that video in the description down below. One common question that many of you have voiced on this topic is, when will the EDD get back to me to let me know that my documentation has been accepted and that this requirement is cleared for my claim? Unfortunately, the EDD has stated that they do not have a deadline in place for when they will have this completed. I took a recent poll in my community forum, and only a very small amount of those polled stated that they had in fact heard back from the EDD. The EDD is sending out an automatic confirmation once you submit that documentation, which comes through right away. However, the EDD then has to look over your documentation and get back to you on whether or not that documentation is sufficient and is accepted. The EDD has not expressed a time frame on when they will complete this process or how long it will take. So if you are among the majority of claimants who have not heard back from the EDD, unfortunately that is normal. It is still normal to be waiting on that acceptance, and I would anticipate it to continue on for quite some time until we receive a specific time frame from the EDD in a publication. Next, many of you are asking me why you are receiving this requirement when you were not a PUA claimant. I want you guys to understand that it's very important for all of you to log in to your UI Online homepage and check for this specific notification that you are required to upload documents. Even if you were not a PUA claimant, you may have unknowingly received PUA as an extension to UI for a very brief period. There was a point in time when the EDD had a lapse in their computer programming and they had not yet inputted the next extension for PEUC from stimulus bill legislation. During this point in time, some claims were put onto a PUA claim as an extension in the interim. That means that if you were a UI claimant, you may have received just a few weeks of PUA without even realizing it, and you would be required to provide this documentation if requested. If the EDD requires you to send in this documentation, you are simply going to send in whatever documents verify your employment, self-employment, or plans for employment or self-employment, or any documentation that shows that you had to stay home due to the pandemic and could not fulfill your plans to work. I go over these details very thoroughly in terms of what to send in the video that I'm linking down below. Next, many of you are wondering if you will be able to receive additional claim balance if you are still within your benefit year, but you have reached maximum benefits paid. The answer here is no. At this point in time, all extensions have come to an end, with Fed Ed and PEUC extensions coming to a close back in September. There are no additional extensions to unemployment, and PUA has also ended in September as well. California unemployment claims have a benefit year, wherein you can utilize your 26 weeks worth of benefits anytime within that year. Because there are no current extensions, once you get your balance down to zero, you will not receive additional claim balance until you reach the end of that benefit year and you file a new claim. If you qualify for a new claim at that point in time, meaning that you have worked within the last year and did earn $1,300 or more during your highest quarter in the last year, then in that scenario, you would qualify to receive a new claim. Next, many of you are wondering if you are still able to backdate your unemployment claim. The answer here is possibly. Backdating is a very tricky process, and there are a lot of intricacies included in who qualifies for backdating and exactly what your claim can qualify for in terms of changes. Backdating an unemployment claim is quite complicated, and I go over all of those details in the video linked down below. In general, if you do qualify to have your claim backdated and if you have good cause on why you delayed the request to backdate your claim, you may potentially qualify still to backdate. If you think that you qualify to backdate your claim, you can click the link in the video description down below for more information. Next, for those of you who have received an overpayment notice from the California EDD stating that you are required to pay back some of your benefits, I want you to understand that you may be able to apply for an overpayment waiver if you qualify. In order to qualify for an overpayment waiver, you must have had the overpayment issued to you through no fault of your own. Your claim must not be fraudulent, and you must not have submitted any false statements. Additionally, you must be able to prove that paying back these benefits would provide you with a severe financial hardship, and you must provide documentation to support that. Upon receiving your overpayment notice, on the back of the notice, you will be able to access information on how you can apply for an overpayment waiver. In order to be considered for an overpayment waiver, the EDD does state on the overpayment notice that you are required to submit this request within 10 days of receipt of your overpayment notice. Okay, you guys, I hope that was helpful. For those of you undergoing any of these experiences right now, please let me know your feedback in the comments down below. I'm particularly interested to hear back from my community in the comments regarding your situation with work documentation being accepted, as well as overpayment notices being issued. If you are affected by either one of those, please let me know what you have received from the EDD, if your documentation has been accepted, if you have not heard back, or if you have received an overpayment notice.